Welcome everyone to the grand finals here of the Winter Challenge 4 here at Psychotherapy Place in Pico Bay, California. I am Mrs. Cornell, fresh off the top 4, unfortunately. That's Arnie Wolfen alongside, and our finalists are going to be Michael Wagner, who's looking for back-to-back titles, against Thomas Park, who honestly was going on a pretty good run despite being the 8th seed.
Yeah, Thomas is, I was talking to Dennis just a minute ago, talking about how the Tang team is still prevalent. And you're going to see here, you're going to see Michael on the left, though, with that Chen Pao, Ditto, Fluttermane, Landers Incarnate, Rillaboom, and Zamazenta. Well, Thomas is on the right with Calyrex Ice, Landers Incarnate, Amoonguss, Urshifu Rapid, Roaring Moon, and Ogerpon Hearthflame. Tang team versus Zama. This is interesting because the Zama team does not like to handle the Tang team. It's just tough. The combo of Hearthflame plus Calyrex is a very hard combo, and the combo of Roaring Moon plus Landers is a very hard combo. You need some sort of rock move. Landers does help a bit, but it's still not great. And Chen Pao, again, helps a bit, but it's very threatening because you're running a very fast team on a team that is good at positioning itself to play in Trick Room.
I think the important part of this matchup will be Michael's Ditto, because if you can't really find a route to escape one of Thomas's many different threats in his field, why not just copy it straight up?
Yeah, I think especially if you can copy, like say you've got Amoonguss and that Calyrex, why not copy the Amoonguss and get Spores off?
And there is Thomas's lead for game number 1 of Grand Finals. It's going to be that Calyrex Ice Fighter and the Amoonguss. Michael, on the other hand, going to lead the Chen Pao Zamazenta staple on his side, which as one's going to activate on the Calyrex to remove the effects of the berries, and then with the Unearth ability, Chen Pao going to activate the Sword of Road with the defenses of everyone, which matters to everyone, actually, as a matter of fact. And then Zamazenta activates Dauntless Shield for that defense boost.
I really like this lead for Michael. It's a standard lead, but it's a classic. Because you're able to go ahead and just go for the double up in the Calyrex. I really like the idea of going for Behemoth Bash plus Throat Chop. But honestly, I think I kind of do that on the Amoonguss. There is something which is kind of threatening, which is if the Amoonguss protects and you double target Amoonguss, you get a free Trick Room Spore, have fun. But if you go for that and Amoonguss doesn't protect, like I like the idea of just going into the Calyrex slot and letting the Amoonguss redirect, because after that, like if you go for that combo, see, that's the thing. If you double target the Calyrex, you're doing so much damage onto it that it no longer is going to be that threatening.
Yeah, and that prompted to protect from the Amoonguss as well, because the Kaiseko Crash would have been able to knock it out with that sort of Ruin Boost, more than likely. All of the Behemoth Bash doubles into the Amoonguss, so Michael definitely does not want to go to sleep here. Is this a Trick Room coming out from this Calyrex Ice Rider? It is!
It's a toughie. It's a toughie. I think this isn't horrible of a position. The Zamazenta's in a tricky spot. Do you go for White Guard? Do you go for Protect? Chen Pao can go for hits with Icicle Crash, but I think here your goal, maybe, get that Ditto into play.
I also want to add on, because if you're talking about Zamazenta going for a wide guard here, I don't really think Chen Pao or Zamazenta are in the threat on the high horsepower. Maybe Zamazenta with the high horsepower because of the sort of ruined defense drop, but that's easily swappable with the Ditto or the Rillaboom that has in the back.
Yeah, I think ideally... Oh, there's...
Or the Amoonguss switches out.
That's a good play, because you do not want that Ditto copying Amoonguss.
Because the Landorus Incarnate from Michael, and this catches the Ditto with the Glacial Lance. Oh, it's Zamazenta swapping out. So no more Dauntless Shield boost, so it's going to be back into square one for that defense stat, but Ditto copies the Calyrex Ice Rider with the Imposter ability, catching Thomas switching in the wrong slot.
That was one of the most... If you don't like you're restricted, why not just switch it? That was a really good play there. Now, because...
High horsepower, so it wasn't eyeing a score, to be exact, but you lose Landorus because the Icicle Crush being quite effective against that Incarnate with the ground and flying typing, and Thomas eyeing a switch into Glacial Lance, didn't even go for the Glacial Lance first of all, and now you lost Landorus for almost no reason as Amoonguss comes back in.
Wow. That is a play of all plays. Not only do you remove the Landorus, you have a Calyrex, 2 ice types against this Amoonguss, which is essentially kind of has to go for the Terra right now, and there it is. But man, that was just an insane play, because you now have a Trick Room control, and sure, the Amoonguss can Spore you, but Calyrex cannot KO either one of your side if you're Michael with a Glacial Lance. It has to rely on high horsepower, and that means the Amoonguss is going to get hit really hard.
Well, it's going to depend on where the Spore even goes, but Chen Pao is going to have to protect, because remember, Amoonguss is the slowest thing in the field because of that base 30 speed that it has. It Spores to Chen Pao, so it does get the protect call correct. Let's see what Michael swaps in here as his move. It's going to be that Glacial Lance. And I also remember this Ditto safety call, because the Spore wouldn't really affect it that much. Thanks to the Sword of Ruin, Amoonguss takes half damage from that Glacial Lance, and Ditto hangs on from that high horsepower.
Wow, this is a master class on how to use Ditto. A really good positioning still because again, if you get the Spore off, you're now banking on speed ties, and even then you have Rillaboom with Terra Fire in the back. It's really good into this combo of two. I think you're going to see a swap out of the Amoonguss, but if you're Michael, you got to be really cautious because there is this threat of being outsped and then giving Thomas that +1 boost on their Calyrex thanks to knocking out yours.
Sucker Punch doesn't take a knockout. No, it does not for Michael, but it is going to be that Glacial Lance range that Michael desires as Amoonguss gets the Spore off on the Chien-Pao with 0 turns of sleep. Still to focus that's intact. What does Ditto goes first with the Glacial Lance? This should be a double knockout. It will, and the Chilling Nay is going to give a +2 attack boost to that Ditto Rider.
Ditto is coming in clutch for Michael. That is insane. Now, why I think that was so crazy is that is 2 speed ties in a row that Michael has won, and that just flipped this whole match on its head because it is Ogerpon versus the world. The interesting thing, though, Ogerpon does have super effective moves into everything on Michael's side, but there's ways around that. You can swap the Ditto out into Zamazenta, kind of sacrifice it, bring the Ditto back in late game so it can resist, or you can just take the hit because you have Trick Room up. But what's really important, you want to save that Terra Fire for Rillaboom because that is going to make Ogerpon just essentially ineffective on all costs because it only has 2 moves, both of which fire resist.
Yeah, and because of that, Thomas does not see a way out of this battle as Michael Wagner now 1 game away of going back-to-back for Gym Challenge Championships.
Yeah, you know, this is Ditto on Zama teams are fun. Ditto is a very fun mon on Zama teams because it is able to just take advantage of stuff like that. I think if you're Thomas, the main threat, though, it's basically your Calyrex now has safety goggles. Like, that's something you don't want because Amoonguss is a huge way around it. Yeah, you got Pollen Puff to deal some damage, but I think you just gotta play the fast mode because there's nothing much. I mean, you have Thunder Wave, but I think Lando and Roaring Moon would probably be the better.
No, there wasn't much reason for Thomas to go for that Trick Room mode because, well, again, you look at the first surface value of Michael's team. All of his Pokemon are remotely fast, and then there's a Rillaboom that's like a middling speed, you know, for the most part. So, of course, it made sense for Thomas to go for that Trick Room mode. Although, I think what turned the game around was Thomas trying to eye a Grass-type switch in for that Landers and then not committing the Glacial Lance, which probably was correct in the long run, but I think that was the thing that set Thomas back from that game.
Yeah, once that, I think no one was expecting the Zamazenta to just sacrifice its +1 defense boost and copy the Calyrex. I think the Landorus was a good call, expecting the Ditto, being like, hey, you're going to copy my Amoonguss? No, you're going to copy my Landorus. But it didn't work out that way. But what I like about Thomas's team is a lot of things function really well. The Roaring Moon, the Landorus, and the Hearthflame all function super well against Michael's team under Tailwind, once you get Tailwind up on Thomas's side. Even though Michael's team is really fast, so I think we're going to see a faster mode from Thomas.
All right, and there you go. There is the Roaring Moon and the Landorus lead from Thomas Park. Michael Wagner once again released Zamazenta and Chien-Pao. So Sword of Ruin's going to go up, Dauntless Shield's going to give Zamazenta the defense boost, and here comes the Booster Energy activation on the Roaring Moon for that speed multiplier.
Yeah, so the Landorus is a huge threat. Yeah, Chien-Pao's on the field. However, this Landorus, it is able to resist with Terra Water. Tailwind from Roaring Moon is the fastest thing on the field, so you can set up your Tailwind, go for Earth Power onto either Zamazenta or Chien-Pao. Nothing's going to take that well. Zama, even after Terra Dragon, gets hit with like a 50% hit. That's threatening, and not only that, but you have the Roaring Moon ready there, and if you don't click Icicle Crash onto it, this Landorus gets a free turn, but if you get rid of the Landorus, the Roaring Moon is now ready to go Acrobatics and finish off the Chien-Pao, and possibly the Zama too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and my Procatera from Zamazenta shouldn't want to stay in the field. Although I think the safer thing to do here, Michael, it could be a double protect scout, which is equally dangerous if Roaring Moon gets the Tailwind off immediately. And we're going to see a Terrassalization come out immediately, and I think this is Michael.
Yeah, I think it is as well, and it's a bit
surprising. It is a Zamazenta with the Dragon type, so clearly is worried about that Earth Power.
It will. I think Zama does go down to Earth Power, however, Terra to Dragon's it's a tricky one.
And Thomas Terra's the Landorus, and the Landorus is going to tear it in water.
Yeah, you gotta. There's a good call here. If Michael's quick for that Terra to water, I think the best play is to go for the body press into the Landorus slot, and then go for the Icicle Crash and use the Roaring Moon.
But Roaring Moon is going to move first, though, so that's the main issue, as it does with the Tailwind off, so Landorus will get an attack off. Whether it's Earth Power or Sludge Bomber, the matter of fact, or Sandseer Storm, which will double connect to both Pokemon, Chen-Pao's going to hang on at 3 HP. Zamazenta lives on half. Chen-Pao goes for that Ice Moon Crash into the Roaring Moon, which easily gets a one-hit knockout thanks to a very subpar defense that Roaring Moon has. What did the Zamazenta do here? Did it click the body press? It did click the body press. So this was either a double up or it did read the Terra. It's a one-hit knockout from the Zamazenta!
Michael is showing this is what happens when you know your calcs and play against this team. I'm sure Michael has experienced this while practicing, where you face a team so many times, it gives you a lot of trouble that you just around it. This combo, unbelievable. Still has a little threat now from this Calyrex. It is very good into this combo because you have Follow Me from Ogerpon, and that is what's threatening. All you gotta do is chip the two in the front, and then you have the Mons in the back that are much better for positioning. But I think because the Tailwind's up, we're not gonna see a Trick Room. We're just gonna see Follow Me Glacial Lance.
And if that's the case, does it prompt a wide guard from the Zamazenta? Because if it does, then this could be a nothing burger of a turn here, as Michael is just going to go for that double protect with the Chen-Pao and the Zamazenta. Thomas's last hope to force that game 3 is indeed that Calyrex Ice Rider and the Ogerpon Heartflame. Both of Michael's Pokemon protect. Ivy Cudgel comes out from the Ogerpon to make sure that Glacial Lance would have became a single target move if it knocked out the Chen-Pao.
I think this is still really solid positioning for Michael, but it's a lot trickier now because you do have to worry about Follow Me, and then you can't wide guard. You have a 50-50, or I think 1 1/3 shot of landing that wide guard because you couldn't protect. So you've got to go for a hit on that Ogerpon, and then that leaves Calyrex a free open Glacial Lance.
But what if the Ogerpon's faster than the Chen-Pao?
It's not going to really matter. You just got to click Glacial Lance. And at that point...
No, if Ogerpon speeds the Chen-Pao, it plays Ivy Culture into the Chen-Pao. Now you have a free shot to go up to the Zamazenta.
Well, Zama can't wide guard this turn, or can, but it's got 1 free shot because after Protect, wide guard does lose its accuracy. But Michael's like, screw that! I'm clicking wide guard anyways.
Yeah, I believe that was always going to be the option anyway. And Sucker Punch, yeah, I figured Sucker Punch would be the play here from Michael because you have to be worried about this Ogerpon being faster than the Chen-Pao here. And with Sucker Punch, you get some damage onto the Calyrex. And now, let's see if Thomas even read into the wide guard. No, he didn't. It would have been devastating if Thomas got off the Trick Room.
That's unbelievable because if I'm not mistaken, and I'll double check, that wide guard had only a 33% chance to hit.
No, it was not. We have a resource. It's 100 because it's not protect. It's not wide. Yeah, okay, I think I know where you can. I know where.
Other way around. Other way around.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. That was a great play. Ignore everything that I said.
Yeah. It's the other way around. If you wide guard, then protect becomes the 33%.
It's always confusing. Yeah. But this is a great Ditto transformation here for Calyrex.
And now this is the last turn of Tailwind from Thomas, and so double protect comes out once again from Mr. Wagner. Wait a minute, you wide guarded the last turn. You can't do that.
See, that's what I was talking about. But it's okay. Right now, Zamazenta doesn't really need to be in play. I'm more concerned about the possibility of
Glacial Lance?
Glacial Lance coming out from Thomas.
It's Trick Room. Which isn't the worst thing to happen, but now that enables wide guard again.
I have to admit, I don't like the Trick Room necessarily. It's not bad. It's just a matter of how much this Ogerpon's going to do.
Yeah, and it also just assumes how quickly this Ogerpon can attack, because I think this Ivy Culture can just straight up knock out the Ditto being transported into the Calyrex Ice Rider, in which case I think Thomas might have to protect with the Calyrex.
Yeah, I think that this is, I think this is interesting. The Ogerpon, yeah, like, in terms of numbers, it's good for Michael, but everything on his side is going to be really weak to either fire or ice, so it's not good.
Oh, he reads into the wide guard, gets the high horsepower connection onto the Ditto, gets the Glacial Lance off, no boost to be seen. Does it knock out anything? No, it does not. Ogerpon takes it really well. Ivy Culture does go into the Ditto, as I correctly predicted. Does it KO? Yes, it does!
And this is what I'm talking about with the Tang team. Even if the first two go down really easy, it doesn't matter because the last combo is so hard to handle in almost every situation, this one included.
Alright, now this Trick Room's in prime position for Thomas to make a comeback in this game, because now Zamazenta's guaranteed to be the slowest thing in the room. Frugal Boom has the turn to go to Fake Out, so this might be a double protect from Thomas.
Right now, it's okay. There's a win con here still for Michael, I think, which is you gotta fake out onto the. I personally think you gotta fake out onto the Calyrex slot. Take the Ivy Cudgel, and then return it with a body press on the turn after, and then Woodhammer to the Calyrex. The thing is, you have to survive an Ivy Cudgel. I think if you fake out the Ogerpon, it's over.
There's the first attack from the Calyrex. Did the Ogerpon go for protect as well? That's why I'm envisioning in front of this fake out. Yes, it is. Now to see where does Weast attacks launched from each side. Rillaboom goes for the fake out. Where did it go? It went after the Calyrex. Thought it would have stopped the Glacial Lance stuff from going off altogether. Zamazenta going for the body press. Into the Ogrepot. It's going to take some damage.
Yeah, that was the right play. It doesn't really matter about taking damage here because I believe you want to just stall out the Trick Room. Which right now, this is a really, it looks like on paper this is a good spot for Thomas. I think it's a better spot for Michael. I think you go for a Wood Hammer like onto the Calyrex, you kind of force the redirect. Obviously, Wide Guard prevents the Rillaboom from getting hit with any sort of ice move.
Which I know being blocked by that Wide Guard.
It all comes down to how much Heavy Cudgel does.
Or not at all, as Follow Me comes out. So it's definitely eyeing that Wood Hammer from the Rillaboom, which isn't the worst thing to happen here. Glacial Lance is blocked once again by that Wide Guard. This Rillaboom from Michael did click that Wood Hammer, which is going to be quad resisted to that Grass and Fire type Ogrepot Heart Flame. But it's still in grassy terrain. How much damage is this going to do? Yeah, nothing.
If this Trick Room, expires, which I believe it does, this is a very, very, very solid position for Michael. But it's all going to come down to one thing. Oh, I believe the Trick Room's still up for one more turn.
Yeah, this should be the last turn.
That is it's still okay, but it's a less of a great position for Michael.
Yeah, so you just you Wide Guard again.
You have to Wide Guard again and Wood Hammer onto the Calyrex. But then the thing is, I think the play here for Tom is protect the Calyrex, go for Ivy Cudgel, and then it all comes down to how much does Body Press do, right? Body Press is gonna, I believe, should be able to...
Oh no, Wide Guard came out. Here comes Glacial Lance from Thomas's Calyrex Ice Spider. Will it knock out both? It will knock out the Rillaboom. Zamazenta hangs on as Rillaboom took a critical hit straight to the dome. Now, what's next from Thomas's Ogrepot? Is Chili Nate going to give the Calyrex the Ice Spider boost? And Ivy Cudgel connects. Does it survive on the plus with defense? No, it does not. We got a game 3.
Oh my goodness. I think that Wide Guard, no protection on the Wide Guard there was really surprising to me. Because I think it just, from what I think you needed to do was get rid of the Trick Room and then worry about the Body Press stuff. But the thing with that, because I think regardless, Calyrex is going to take over 50% from a Wood Hammer. It's going down. It would come down to how much Body Press does. And I think that not Wide Guard move was a bit of mind games there that Thomas was able to position himself into getting. And that's what got in Michael's head and was able to give Thomas the win. Really wonderfully played. And again, it shows the power of the combo, the Lando and Roaring Moon combo, followed by Hearth Flame and Calyrex. Even if you don't knock out anything with that first combo, that last two is able to sweep the game.
Things have just gotten interesting for this Gym Challenge Winter 4 final. Once again, the stakes are high for both of these trainers. Michael Wagner looking for his back-to-back championship title. Thomas looking to make the upset and win his first ever Gym Challenge. I believe this is also his first final as well. Team repetition again. Michael on the Chien-Pao Ditto. Fluttermane, Landorus Incarnate. Rillaboom and Zamazenta, Thomas on the Calyrex Ice Rider, Landorus Incarnate, Amoonguss, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Roaring Moon, and Pokemon Heart Flame, and we are going to get set for the final game of the night.
Yeah, I don't think there's any bad plays across the board. I think it was all mind games. I think the right four were brought in for both sides. It's all a matter now of positioning and mind games.
I mean, that's exactly what happened to me, but I digress. All right. Here we go, game number 3 between Thomas and Michael. Thomas going to lead the Roaring Moon and Urshifu Rapid Strike. Chien-Pao Zamazenta once again for a third and final game in a row for Michael. Once again, Sword of Ruin activates, Dauntless Shield activates, and the Proto-Synthesis activates.
Not a fan of that lead for Thomas, if we're going to be honest. I think he should have stuck with the Landorus. It provides a lot more of a threat. The Urshifu is going to be able to hit, but it's a lot easier to resist because you could just switch into Rillaboom there. Something you can't really do with Landorus. And I do think that, yeah, Body Press on the Roaring Moon kind of forces it to Terra, which it's not bad, but still, it's going to deal a lot of damage. It's a Body Press from Zamazenta. It's going to take a hard-hitting chunk of damage.
And here comes the Rillaboom swapping for the Chien-Pao slot, so it's going to definitely make sure to see that Surging Strikes from Urshifu Rapid Strike is not going to do anything, as we do see Michael go for the Terra Dragon on Zamazenta.
Now, this would be a really interesting call if Thomas was able... Oh! I was going to say, if Thomas was able to go for a Terra Flying Acrobatics into a Rillaboom and just remove it, that would have been amazing. But I actually think, this Urshifu, it can't really hit too hard.
Oh, and a Terra Waters!
Could be terrifying on this.
No, the Roaring Moon was faster. But it's Urshifu definitely this play makes sense. It's Zamazenta did not Terra Dragon. But it did, unfortunately.
Yeah, you kind of always have to Terra as your Zamazenta regardless here. Tailwind makes sense, but you're losing that Roaring Moon, and now this Urshifu is free to just take... It's going to hit. It's going to hit something super resisted.
And who is it? It's Rillaboom. It's going to do around 30 HP per hit, so it's kind of down to... Okay, that one's 35 damage this time. The third hit takes it to 99, so decent damage, but I think there's a lot to be desired.
Yeah, big time. That is...
And Body Press goes out into the Roaring Moon, knockout!
I understand the play on Thomas' side. You know, you Terra Water because otherwise you don't remove the Chen Pao, but the switch to Rillaboom was very obvious, and I don't think Chen Pao was really the threat you were looking to get rid of here. I think that the Zama is going to provide a lot more coverage late game. Chen Pao, it's a formality, but it's easier to knock out with your back two, assuming it's the same back two you had in game 2. And so I think right now you kind of... Calyrex is okay, but I would prefer Ogerpon here to just remove Rillaboom. It's still tough either way, though. This is not a great position for Thomas.
But at the same time, I think I'm starting to understand why Thomas went for Urshifu over Landers, because that game 2 went disastrous.
Yeah, I do think the Urshifu was the right swap. I just think I would have preferred to see it switch out into something different. I also think Landers puts a lot more offensive pressure with Earth Power regardless of who you hit. It did work out in Thomas's favor, but the Urshifu, it's not going to be able to really hit hard here, even with the close combat.
Here's a wide guard as well from Michael Zamazenta to make sure Glacial Lance isn't much of an issue. Grassy Glide connects onto the Urshifu, takes it pretty decently at over half. Taunt comes out, no more wide guards for the next oncoming turns, which is a good adaptation from Thompson's side because that is one of your best sources to stop wide guard. Unfortunately, you had to take this one turn to do nothing.
And now it's a very good position for Michael. You get a free body press plus Woodhammer combo, I think, into the Calyrex, or you could go for the body press and G3 if you want to just kind of spread your damage there. I personally think you just double target the Calyrex. Chifu can't really do anything, even if it close combats onto your Rillaboom and knocks it out. Okay, well now I'm bringing in my my own Ditto, and it's my turn to go Glacial Lances.
What if Thomas switches into Ogerpon Hardplane to tank? There's an argument you can make to protect the Calyrex and then switch into Ogerpon Hardplane, making that a little bit easier, but there's also just a possibility that could be backfiring if you just double target the wrong slot, which is the mind game now if you're Thomas. Like, who does Michael target? Okay, we've seen the Urshifu swap out, and who is it that is coming in as Thomas' final Pokemon? Is Ogerpon Heartflame.
I think he targets the Urshifu / Ogerpon slot just in general. You want to keep the Calyrex up because I think when you're one-on-one with it, it's going to be better.
Oh, Rillaboom swaps.
Because you want to get the Ditto in there, and your win condition is, hey, okay, you have a Calyrex, well, I'm going to have a Calyrex Chen Pao at the end of the game, so I win. I think that's what Michael's thought process is right now, and this Ditto is just step one of that plan.
All right, and that is that Ditto copying into the Calyrex Ice Rider, who now has the As-One ability for its own. Body Press into the Ogerpon, takes it over half HP. Here's the Glacial Lance. It's going to hit both Pokemon, but it might not be devastating damage. Does have the Zamazenta, but it's going to heal up a bit.
That was a lot less damaging on Zamazenta than I thought. This is very, very solid for Michael. I think the right play is kind of obvious, which is you go Body Press and Calyrex, and then, or actually, personally,
there's no Tailwind turn, so this might prompt Michael to double protect.
Yeah, if you could double protect, that's ideal.
Oh, wait, you can't protect with the Zamazenta, you're taunted still.
Just go for a protect on Ditto, you're fine. Body Press into Ogerpon. I wouldn't really swap. I think Zama's kind of done its job. I wouldn't be surprised if you want to sacrifice something. Sacrifice maybe the Rillaboom. But I think regardless, like, your end game here for Michael is let's get the Calyrex, Ditto, and Chen Pao together to kind of sweep at the end of the game here.
All right, Ditto does switch out from Michael's side, and now back comes the Chen Pao. Thomas still has a turn of Tailwind left, so he's got to make it count now.
It's not a bad call, but it is a bit...
Spiky Shield comes out.
I was going to say, as long as one of the two protects, then this Chen Pao stays up.
Body Press into the Spiky Shield, so it is going to take some damage. Did the Calyrex Ice Rider from Thomas go for Glacial Lance, or did it go for the Tricker? But Zama's have to take some damage from those spikes. It's Glacial Lance. Zama's going to go down, and that's going to be a chilling day boost.
I think.
This game is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen.
I really like Michael's position here. There's a sneaky play. We did see the Terra on Thomas's side. Icicle Crash, or Throat Chop for that matter, because it already Spiky Shield, will... I think Icicle Crush picks up. I don't know if Throat Chop picks up the Ogerpon at that range, but if you go your Ditto into that Ogerpon, you're free to just go, hi, Ivy Cudgel, you burned your Terra, I'm going to knock you out with fire moves type attack. But Rillaboom's still good here. for fake out support.
This is also the last turn in grassy terrain, FYI. So
Yeah, I would have preferred the Ditto there. I understand why. The
fake out pressure is obviously there, so it's probably prompt to protect the Calyrex, or maybe a switch-in into Urshifu to make sure the Ogerpon stays healthy.
Yeah, I get it. You want to preserve your Ditto to probably copy the Calyrex, but I just think copying into Ogerpon would have been awesome because you're able to just be like, hey, I'm going to Ivy Cudgel now. You have to protect, and I remove your Ogerpon. And then after that, you know, you're probably going to outspeed the Urshifu. You have, if I'm not mistaken, it's Horn Leech, so you're able to go ahead and just Horn Leech the Urshifu, get rid of it, and then hit the Calyrex with another Throat Chop, and that's just going to be the end of the game after that. But I think Michael is trying to conserve the Ditto for more of an offensive role.
All right, Calyrex protects. The Ogerpon stays in play. Rillaboom goes for the fake out into the protect, so Ogerpon has the free move to go for if it's able to outspeed this Champ, which probably it won't be able to do. Follow Me comes out.
No damage output required, but it makes sense, I guess. Don't...
It does not knock out the Ogerpon. That's interesting.
I actually think that might have helped. That might have helped Michael a bit here because I do think it's going to come down to. Oh no, the Grassy Glide's out now. So
you can redirect the Chen Pao, Rillaboom with some threat, and I think you have to switch out Chen Pao into the Ditto to make sure that Sword of Ruin isn't exactly hurting you at the very moment.
I still think the best play is right now. I stand by that the Ditto should have gone into the Ogerpon. I think you protect your Chen Pao and you try and U-turn out on Calyrex. Because Ogerpon, if it doesn't knock out the Rillaboom, you get a U-turn up on the Calyrex, you get your set in.
Yeah, another Follow Me comes out to make sure the Chen Pao does not get damage onto the Calyrex Ice Rider.
I think it's not bad, but it's really hard to position Ditto right now because there's a really good chance of Trick Rooms coming out. And, I mean, it's not horrid, but you're going to be...
Here's Woodhammer. Is going to come out from this Rillaboom into the Calyrex Ice Rider. It's at full AP. Takes it half. Back a comfortable champion. Here comes the Rillaboom taking a recoil, and there's the Trick Room.
It's not good position for Michael right now, but it is good that your Ditto can come in and copy the Calyrex. But the thing is, you haven't...
Yeah, they still have an Urshifu.
So, like, Surging Strikes is just going to do a ton of damage on the turn that you switch in. I think Rillaboom's got a U-turn out. But if that's the case, you copy the Urshifu, so you're in a really tough spot if you're Michael. I told you, this game's going to come down to positioning, and Michael's in a tricky spot. Sucker Punch, though.
Yeah, Thomas is in a great position. barring that Sucker Punch, which we know already did have. So, I think the move for Thomas, arguably, is to go quick Surging Strikes onto the Chen Pao, and like, even if Ditto comes in, you're still getting good damage on it.
I think actually, hold on. I think Michael has a play here. If you go for Sucker Punch with Calyrex and Woodhammer the Urshifu, then that's the last two. So you can freely switch into the Ditto safely, and then you can use that.
There's a Sucker Punch. Gonna fail into the protect of the Calyrex Ice Rider. Rillaboom isn't any slower. Is gonna knock out the Urshifu. It's now a 3v1 for Michael Wagner against Thomas Park.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was a much bulkier Urshifu than it actually was.
You forget that Woodhammer is a 120 base power move.
Whoa, no, I thought the Willow was gonna be a bit faster than the Shifu because I thought it was a bulkier Shifu on the tank team, but at this point, you click Sucker Punch and you have fun.
Well, this is the moment that everyone's been waiting for. This grand finals of the Winter Challenge 4. The battle is canceled. Michael Wagner, back-to-back champion!
You know, there is something that can be said about, and this is something I preach whenever someone asks me about team comfortability. Michael's team is something he's incredibly comfortable with. Chen Pao, Ditto, Fluttermane, Landorus, Rilla, and Zama are things he knows like the back of his hand, and that is what got him the win. Knowing those positions where even they looked a bit confusing to at least me, being able to, that last turn, I was like, all the puzzle pieces clicked. And that's something that is what I think makes a really good player. When you have a strategy in mind that no one else can figure out, the casters, the opponents, etc., and you're able to bring that out, and it shows, that's why Michael just won.
Yeah, that is a great win there from Michael Wagner. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, back-to-back champion here at the Gym Challenge. Thomas Park making it as far as he did. You also have to commemorate every person that's made it out here to Psycho Turtle. You know, we all did a good job here. We're just part of the journey.
Yeah, and again, I always say this, it's such a fun environment. You can hear everyone chatting in the background. Come on out. We have another one on March 2nd. It's our last one before Vancouver, so if you're going to Vancouver Regionals, please come here and practice. I need to practice. But yeah, if you've never come on over. It's a great environment, lovely people, and we'd love to see you here. And there's pizza.
Yeah, fun. With that being said, unfortunately, nothing more can be said for the rest of the tournament. This has been Jesus Coronel. This has been Arnie Wolf. Dennis Geisler was already earlier on the microphone when they